morning, children. Yes, today we are going to see the new lesson. The name of the lesson is The Cherry Tree. Yes, it is written by Ruskin Bond. So, Ruskin Bond was born in the year 1934. He is actually an Indian writer but has a British origin. So, he was actually born and brought up at Dehradun, and he loves writing stories regarding the forest, monsoon, that is about the climate, then about the hill station. So like that, he is purely concerned with the nature. So he is a good nature writer also. So he's made most of the books concerned with the nature and especially for the children. The Indian Council for Child Education has recognized his role in the growth of children's literature in India. So he was being honored Sahitya Academic Award in 1992 for his well-known writing called Our Trees Still Grow in Dehra. So what is the name of the book? Our Trees Still Grow in Dehra. So let's start with the lesson. So what was the name of the lesson that I said? It is The Cherry Tree. It is from the Rain Tree English course book. Yes, and it's page number 27. So the cherry tree. Yes, this name itself sounds very something different, isn't it? The cherry tree. That is, the writer wants to say something regarding the cherry tree. So let's see what he wants to say to us about it. Yes. So shall we start? Yes. Take out page number 27 and just follow as I read the lesson. Rakesh lives with his grandfather in a little cottage in the Himalayan foothills. So who is the central character of the story? It is Rakesh. Yes, Rakesh is actually going to live with his grandfather. So we saw the two characters. Who are they? Rakesh and grandfather. And where they are living? They are living in a little cottage in the place. Which place? In the Himalayan foothills. So what are that we saw now? Rakesh, grandfather, little cottage, Himalayan foothills. His parents live in a small village 50 miles away, but there are no schools there. So from the foothills where this Rakesh and grandfather is staying, from there 50 miles away from there was the Rakesh parents stay in a small village. Yes, and they say that there is no school over there. Understood? Okay, now tell me with whom the Rakesh is staying. Rakesh is staying with his grandfather. So Rakesh comes to live in Mussoorie with his grandfather. So that is the reason why Rakesh has come to live along with the grandfather. What is the reason? Can anyone say? Because from there 50 miles away, Rakesh parents resides in a small village where there is no school. So that's why Rakesh is going to live with his grandfather in Mussoorie. Yes, in Mussoorie. So let's start with the lesson. Yes. One day when Rakesh was 7, he walked home from the Mussoorie bazaar eating cherries. So one day what happened? This Rakesh is going to walk from his home. That is, walked back to home from the Mussoorie bazaar. So there was a bazaar in the Mussoorie. From that bazaar, he was walking to his home. Rakesh was walking to his own home. So while he was walking to his home, he had cherries in his hand and he was eating cherries. What is cherry? Cherry is a small red color fruit, isn't it? So he was taking each fruit, each cherry, and he was eating while he was walking towards his home. They were a little sweet, a little sour. Small, bright red cherries. So see the writer has said about the cherry. Yes, as he was eating, the cherry was actually, it had a little sweet, little sour. Both, yes, both taste has been compared. Little sweet and sour, and it was small, bright and red in color. Yes. So this was the description given for the cherry, which had come all the way from the Kashmir Valley. So where this cherry has grown, actually it has been grown in Kashmir Valley, and from there it has been come to the Missouri, in the Missouri Bazaar. By the time he reached home, only 3 cherries were left. So as he was eating and he is very happy and he was walking back to the home. So when he came back to his home, only 3 cherries were left away. Yes. So let's start the question. I shall ask the question and you have to say, is it understood? Who is the central character of this story? It is Rakesh. Rakesh is staying with his dash, with his grandfather. Where they are staying? They are staying in a small cottage in the Himalayas footwear in Dash, Missouri. Yes. Where is the Rakesh parents staying? Rakesh parents is staying 50 miles away from the place where Rakesh and grandfather is staying. What is the reason? Because there where the Rakesh parents are staying, it's actually a small village without any school facilities over there. So that is the reason why Rakesh is staying with his grandfather. Yes. Then we started with the lesson, isn't it? What was that? One day, what age he was? Rakesh was 7 years old, isn't it? When he was 7, he was walking to home from Dash, from Missouri Bazaar. What he was eating? He was eating cherry. Yes. How was cherry? Cherry was little sweet and little sour. It was small, bright and red. Yes. From where it was taken? It was been brought from the Kashmir Valley. And by the time Rakesh reached home, how many cherries were left? They were left only 3 in number. So let's see, what does Rakesh do with this 3 cherries? Yes. Have a cherry, Dada, he said, as soon as he saw his grandfather in the garden. Actually, Rakesh was standing in the garden. So actually, when he saw his grandfather, he used to call his grandfather as Dada, isn't it? In Hindi, we call grandfather as Dada. So when he saw his grandfather, he said, have this cherries, Dada. Yes. So where they were standing in the garden. Grandfather took 1 cherry and Rakesh promptly ate the other 2. So it was actually 3 were left. So out of 3, 1 grandfather ate and the other 2 were being eaten by Rakesh. He kept the last seed in his mouth for a long time, rolling it around until the tang had gone. So what happened is that Rakesh had eaten 2. Out of it, last part 1, he put it in his mouth and he was actually eating and rolling and having for a longer time. So that the full taste, tang is given in the meaning a strong, sharp taste or smell. That is the last bit of taste that taste is also being experienced by the boy. So he was, till that time, he was keeping that seed in his mouth and rolling for a longer time. Then he placed the seed on the palm of his hand. So what he did, after eating for a long time, then only the seed will be left out, isn't it? So when the seed is left out, what he took it from his mouth and put it in his palm. Yes, and the seed was been in his palm. Are cherry seeds lucky? He asked. So he asked to his grandfather, is the cherry seeds lucky? Of course, said grandfather, but nothing is lucky if you put it away. If you want luck, you must put it to some use. So say the grandfather says, yes, of course, everything is lucky, but unless and until you use it in any other form. If not, if you have put it, that is, if you have thrown it in the dustbin, it will not be used in any way. So that's what the writer also says. So that it has to be used again and again. What can I do with the seed? So the Rakesh is asking to use the seed. How is it possible? What can I do with this seed? So the grandfather says, plant it. So grandfather insists the Rakesh to plant the cherry. How to plant? You have to dig all the sand out, make a big hole. Yes, in that put the cherry seeds and cover it off. Pour regularly water, and after few days or few months, or even it takes few years, isn't it, to get a plant from those seeds. So that's what he says. The grandfather asked the Rakesh to plant the seeds. So Rakesh found a small space and began to dig it up a flower bed. I will plant it here. So Rakesh found somewhere the place in the garden. So he found a small space and began to dig it. Yes, started to dig it well. As he started to dig it, and he said to the grandfather, I am going to plant the cherry over the place that he started to dig. I don't think that is good idea, said grandfather. I have sown mustard in that flower bed. Actually, it was actually a flower bed. So when Rakesh started to dig, grandfather says, I don't think it is good idea to plant the cherry over there. Why? What is the reason? Because the grandfather had already planted the mustard over there. So it is not fine to again to plant the another seed over there. Plant it in that shady corner where it won't be disturbed. So grandfather shows to the other corner and he says that you better plant in the other side because it is blank over there and it will not be disturbed anymore. So that's what the grandfather says. So let me ask questions again. Yes, what does the Rakesh call his grandfather? He calls him Dada, isn't it? So Dada. And how many cherry did the grandfather took to eat? He ate only one cherry, and rest of them were eaten by Rakesh. The rest two of them were eaten by the Rakesh. How did the Rakesh eat? Actually, Rakesh ate the one cherry fully. The last one he ate in such a manner that he rolled the seed of the cherry again and again in his mouth till the last tang of the seed has gone. Yes, till that he was continuously having those seed in his mouth and rolling over the seeds. Yes, then what did he do with the seed? After rolling inside his mouth for a long time, he took the seeds from his mouth and put it in his palm. Yes, in his hand. On the palm of his hand. And what did he ask? What question he asked? What was the question? He asked, are the cherry lucky? Yes. And what did the grandfather say? Grandfather says, yes, all the things are lucky. But what was the reason that the grandfather gave to him? But what was the reason? But it has to be put in the use. Unless and until the thing has been correctly put in use, it cannot be very lucky. So Rakesh had a doubt how to put it into use, isn't it? He asked how to do the seed to put it in use. What does the grandfather say? The grandfather asked the Rakesh to plant the seed. So what did the Rakesh do? Rakesh at once saw a flower of bed lying over there. So he went close to that and started to dig it to plant. Yes. So when he started planting, what does the grandfather say? Grandfather said it is not a good idea. Why? What is the reason? Because there the place where the Rakesh has made it, in that area itself, the grandfather has already planted the mustard over there. So it is not fine to again to plant another seed over there. And what did he ask the Rakesh to do? He asked the Rakesh to plant it in the other shady place, and it will not be, and the seed will not be disturbed, isn't it? So that's all for today's class, children. Bye. See you.